And we're not done yet, but I think it's been a great conversation, a great dialogue and discussion so far, and I've really appreciated the process. And so that's certainly been very good. Maybe the second challenge, but also grand opportunity, I would say is, I've come in and set a vision and outlined some key priorities for the institution. And these are grand opportunities to really elevate this institution and take us, I think, to a different level in the next 5 or 10 years. But, part of that are setting priorities. And so I don't think it's any secret that, of these priorities, it's talking about enrollment and retention and student success. We have to care about the student experience. We have to see them be more successful and retain. And so that's, priority number one for us. Being a Research One, Carnegie Classified Research One institution is the second priority that I've set out there. And that's a grand opportunity and very challenging. We're an elite group, and we're a smaller institution in the upper Midwest. We are among, kind of rarefied air of other institutions that do that. And so it's a challenge, but an opportunity, and it's an exciting one. And so we got to make sure that we continue to move forward in that space. A huge challenge on our campus is well-being, and that's the other area for students, staff, and faculty. We have to invest in our people. We have to make sure that they know that we care. We have to give them the resources they need to be successful. And it's hard for a lot of reasons. Things are changing, and our students are changing, and we have to meet them where they are, but we have to care about our staff in that way too. And that's why I made that the third priority. The fourth priority is diversity, inclusion, and respect, so DIR, which are really important to me. And that's one of the reasons, candidly, why I wanted to come to NDSU is I saw that as a top priority in the strategic plan. Retention, we talked about that a little bit. Our first generation students of color and Pell eligible students are struggling more than the rest of our students. That's a diversity issue. It's an inclusion issue. It's a respect issue. It's a belonging issue. We got to do better by them as an institution. And so we have to make sure that this is a priority moving forward for everybody as we create a community. And so that's a challenge, but a grand opportunity, and one I'm excited about. And then the last area, the fifth one, was land grant. We've talked about that a little bit, so I'll leave that one alone. But I think the strategic plan and those priorities tee up our challenges and opportunities pretty well.
Wow, wonderful. You mentioned two things that I think that I want to circle back on, is student retention and also diversity. I am really big on diversity. Because I get to meet people who are doing the best they can to improve diversity. Yeah. So how do you define diversity?
Well, there's different people. In fact, we talk a lot about the language. And so, let me answer it in this way and maybe a little bit different way. I find diversity, celebrating all of our diverse differences, inclusion, really thinking about how we can all become included. Equity is another term that gets used a lot in terms of how can we all feel equal. Respect, here in our strategic plan is how we, note those differences and respect those, and ultimately belonging is another term that I think about a lot. It's just so critical that we make people feel included and belonging, and like they belong in a community that we prioritize. All of those things are interesting and useful and important, and I value them. We get caught up on words sometimes like diversity. It frustrates me a little bit because sometimes it's a tough thing to talk about. And having a tough thing to talk about is hard and good, but I also want to figure out how we talk about things, moving forward. So I even think about access. So diversity for me in this state sometimes is about access to education, access to resources, access to knowledge, access to research. What can we do to provide our community access to the critical things that makes this institution great? And so, that's kind of where I want to push us in a lot of different ways. But the important thing is that we're getting together, that we're talking about these things, and we're saying it's important, and we're going to get better because we're saying that this is something we value deeply.
Wonderful. I really like the way you define it. It's about giving access to those resources so that everyone can equally have access to them. So very good. I really like that.
Thank you.
You mentioned student retention.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell me a couple of things, maybe 3 things that you are doing when it comes to student retention?
Yeah, so retention again is one of these areas where we have it can be defined in different ways, but just one kind of simple, straightforward way is we have a number of students that start here in August, and then they proceed through the year, and then we want them to come back, of course, the following August. And
Yes.
so you're never going to have 100% of them come back, but we have historically been around 80%, and we've been dropping below that. I want to do better, so it's a metric. I want to do better. I want to get back to 80%, and then I want to do better than 80%. Candidly, we want students who came here in August, who we know that they wanted to be bison and be successful, to want to come back to be successful moving forward as well. And so there are different ways to do that. I think investing in that first year experience and beyond, making sure that students, again, feel welcome, feel included, that they're part of a community, that they're enjoying the experience, that they're appreciating the classroom experience and the classes that they're taking and the learning that's taken place. So investing in the first year is really critical, and thinking a little differently about that is what we're going to do. Let's make it exciting and fun and entrepreneurial and curious for our students. So I'd say that's one of the ways that you can do that. Another thing that we are investing in is professional advising. And so this is not a new concept. I'm actually quite familiar with it at other institutions that I've been at and or studied. But let's get advisors in the first and even the second year that are dedicated to student success, helping them understand the curriculum, helping them understand the classes that they're taking, helping them understand the social emotional challenges that they might be facing, helping them be, somebody there that's helping with their success is critical. And advising and professional advising is a proven model that works there. So we're pushing that out across the first and second year for this next year. That will be critical. And then, candidly, another thing that I'm really excited about that speaks to retention and diversity is we're reinvesting and relaunching our Bison Bridge program. So this is a program that really targets, diverse students. We want them to be here. And when we bring them in a little early, we help them get acclimated a little bit. We connect them with resources early on. We connect them with mentors that look like them or have a similar background as they do, or have experiences that might be similar. And they help mentor them through the first year, but also just connect them and wrap them around with resources. So again, we let these students be successful because we value that. So we're investing in it. And so first year experience, Bison Bridge, and professional advising are a few of the things that we're doing to make a difference there.
Very good, very good. So